All right, we are live. So, welcome to Common Chat with Brian and myself, Solana. How are y'all doing this morning? We are going to be talking about spirituality and whether or not it's been hijacked. There is actually a book out right now, and we hope to have the author on our show one day soon. But until then, we're going to go ahead and talk about it because we do feel the spirituality has been hijacked. And what does that mean? Hijacked. When you think of being hijacked, you just think about a plane, right? Well, it's an idea that's been hijacked, the idea of spirituality. And then to take that another step further, it's been put into action by so many people. I don't know if you guys have ever seen or heard a bad psychic or one psychic that is just constantly talking about how it's all butterflies and rainbows and how everything's just going to be groovy and fine and just to keep doing your nonsense and, don't change anything about what you're doing because, can't do anything. That for me is spirituality being hijacked, taken over, if you will, by some overlords, as I see it. Because again, it's all energy. I don't believe that people who, get into spirituality, get into their own abilities, get into helping other people, just do it, because, hey, sounds like a good thing to do. Because trust me, if you've ever talked to me, you'll understand. For the last 22 years, I've had more drama in my life because of spiritual people. And they all claim to be light workers. It's getting to the point where we don't even want to hear those words anymore. We don't want to hear light worker. We don't want to hear psychic. We don't want to hear medium. And because so much negativity has been put on it. And, it's just like, just like God and Jesus. It's like you get all these negative people coming and, hijacking and, trying to change the ways of the way we are doing things. But hello, that's just nonsense. It's supposed to be love and it's supposed to be positivity. It's supposed to be moving towards humanity. But we have left out a few words like compassion. And it can get crazy. We're going to have a great conversation about it. I hope you guys can come in and join us in our live chat room. Do join us on Facebook's group of Paranormal Psychic Network, and you'll get the links to come into our live Google Hangout to join us. Otherwise, just sit back and view us on YouTube underneath Solana 0156. And, subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel, and you'll get notifications of when we're going to be coming online or on air. Or online, I guess it's the same thing, right? Again, so many labels and different directions that people can go with so many different things. I mean, first of all, we could talk about the English language because there's so many different labels out there that are confusing. And it's leading people astray, and that's where I feel like we've been hijacked. And again, because I'm not just speaking, out of my arse, as they say. I have been living it. I have been a professional psychic for 22 years. And in that 22 years, I have come across some of the most, I want to call them pathetic, but it wasn't their intention to be pathetic. I think that they were hijacked, they were infiltrated, they were taken over by the idea, and therefore their ego, goes awry. And if they don't want to say it's their ego, then let's call it their vanity. I don't know if you guys have ever seen, that movie. Oh my gosh, I can't even with Keanu Reeves, and I'll never say his name right either. But that's what was it?
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, yeah. He did a movie about how the devil kept trying to infiltrate his life and get him to do things, and when he wouldn't do it, he would find another way. And the most you know I guess the last scene actually shows him Reeve
Equilibrium.
coming in. Yeah, yeah, and he comes in and he tries to swoop him up again, and he hits his vanity. He's like, people want to see you. People won't need to hear what you have to say, and so that's they can come in different ways and different emotions and just really wreak havoc, on our spiritual life, and it leads us astray. It takes us down paths that where we just don't want to have nothing to do with spiritual people because of those experiences. That, my friends, is spirituality being hijacked. What do you got to say about it, Brian?
Yeah, well, let me first tell you I think I'm going to speak for most people that'll see this video, that when I first hear spirituality has been hijacked, well, first of all, I'm spiritual. Wait a minute, what the hell do you mean it's been hijacked? I'm a spiritual person. I don't feel hijacked. That's my first response, right? Okay, so, but the more you explain yourself, the more you start to put things out there. Yes, absolutely. Spirituality is being utilized as a cover to get things done. And there's an exercise that I'm going to do before the end of this. I didn't even tell you about it. There's going to be something I want to show people between what evil really looks like compared to what we think it looks like. And in that sense, you can see how spirituality is being hijacked, because it's all in labels, it's all in stereotype personas. But you know, one of the things that most people forget, and this is one of the most important lessons in spirituality, it's not being on the hierarchy, it's not having a high rank, it's not being able to make a living off of. You're not supposed to make a living off of it. If that's your calling and God supports it to where you can actually support your life and you're spreading a good message and you are giving back what you take back in, which is what spirituality is. Because believe me, spirituality is an infinite power. It can provide. But if nobody is taking the provision of spirituality properly and giving it back to those around it, you're just feeding an ego. You're just feeding yourself needs. And when you get to that point, you put yourself on a pedestal. If you're putting yourself on a pedestal, you are setting yourself up to fall. You're going to fall hard, which is also important. In spirituality, one of the biggest lessons and one of the biggest things that you must learn is humility. If you don't know or understand humility, then you can't understand fully what it's like to be a spiritual person. Because let me tell you something, I make myself known to be a spiritual warrior, and I've said that in the last few broadcasts. That's exactly what I am, but it does not mean I'm constantly fighting. It means that I understand what it means to take on the humility of others. It means that I understand what it takes on to actually look at myself for who I really am and what I am. It means that I can sit here and look at myself and know and acknowledge the fact that I'm not better than the worst person in this world. I am not worse than the worst person in this world. I am me. I am Brian. I'm humility. I've been humiliated. Being humiliated in your own self-image is extremely important. And it's up to you to remember that you are not powerful because of you. You are powerful because you take from the grand scale of spirituality. You take from our Creator. You take from a higher power. You are nothing compared to our higher power. And it's important for you to remember that. And because I know that, and because I know that I'm a warrior for my God and for God, our Creator, for everything that He represents, I know that I'm protected in that sense. But I'm not protected against the worst person next to me. I need to embrace him. I need to show him the love that I've been shown. And I need to let him know that I've been humiliated just like him. I can't walk in his shoes. I don't know exactly what he's gone through, but I know what I've gone through, and I understand my humility, and I understand that he is no better than me, and I am no better than him. We all have something to learn from each other. And if you're entering spirituality to make an income, to make a name for yourself, then you have failed already. And you haven't failed in life yet, but you have failed your spiritual mission. And that's important to remember. If
Yeah.
you feel like you are powerful and that you are the one that's creating whatever, and that you need to be the next Sylvia Brown or be the next John Edward, listen, they understand humility. Okay? Sylvia Brown especially, I feel bad for her. She peaked. She got up there. She let it get to her head. Sylvia Brown's a beautiful woman. She understands the spirituality in a way. She was very clairvoyant, but she started to become clouded. She started to make mistakes. She started to say things to people on live TV or on TV shows that later on backfired on her. The humility became real. She has not come back out to the speaker again. She went back under the radar because she was humiliated. She made herself look like an ass, and that's just straight up. If you are in spirituality for the wrong reasons, you're going to look like an ass. And you need to, because spirituality isn't about being the next Sylvia Brown or being the next John Edward. It's about embracing your brothers and sisters, and contributing to the universe.
Right. Point blank. You know, I've had people who actually got readings from me, and they were like, well, what is my purpose? What am I here to do? You know, and they got a little pissed off when I told them, you're here to live. You're here to experience life. You're here to assist as you can. You are not here to be the next Sylvia Brown. And they unfriend me and they stop hanging around me, and I don't care. Because I can't tell them anything different than what Spirit has me say. Again, I don't do it readings and think that, oh, look what I do. In fact, I tell my students and my clients that if you think it's you doing it, we got to stop. We got to stop right now, because it's not you. It is not you. You don't know the people you're talking to. You don't know their intimate details that Spirit gives you. You don't know their passed over loved ones. You know, so it's not you. You're receiving, right? You're receiving information. That means that you're a channel. You're a vessel for God's will. You're a vessel to speak what Spirit would have them hear. Period. You know, you can't involve your ego. If you involve your ego, then you do nobody any good. And as far as I'm concerned, my ego definition is edging God out. You're taking God out of the equation. And when we take God out of the equation of anything, we find all kinds of havoc in our world. Sylvia Brown actually started charging up to $850 an hour. Her son currently, since she's passed on, he actually started doing readings before she passed on. But, you know, so he's taken up that same role. And where is he today? Do we hear his name in the public eye? No, we don't, because it's not about him. And he's allowed that ego to just set in. And I have so many different people that I've encountered that are the same way. You know, they truly believe that it's them doing it. You know, that they're the powerful one. And you know, they'll unfriend me on Facebook because I let them know.
You know, one of the things I want to point out, because we need to feel some sense of power, right? We need to feel some sense of I mean, I say power, and I feel like that's really the wrong word. But you do need to have confidence in what it is that you're feeling. You need to have confidence in acknowledging what you are feeling and what you are seeing, and that the power that you're holding is a reality, and it's dangerous, and it's healing, and it's everything that God can possibly be. But you got to understand where your source is coming from. Your power is not coming from the core of your body or the core of your spirit. You are simply a branch, a berry, a fruit of the tree that is providing you power. And that's the thing you need to surrender to. Understand that you are a part of something bigger. Understand that there's a higher power involved, that you are a part of that. And that's where you pull your power from. Right. But believe me, you can fall from the tree, and many people do. And they think as that fruit that they are all powerful. I could create. And you can. But you could also die. You could also shrivel up and become something that you didn't think you were going to become. You know, and I think that's the most important piece to remember is understanding where you come from. Understand your creation. Understand where you pull your power from, and understand your humility. Because without your humility, you are dangerous. And being dangerous does not make you powerful. It makes you a target. And I will target you. And I will come after you, and I will ascend you, and I will return you back to your power. That's the message that you must understand. It's not about me. It's not about you. It's not about anything other than the power of the ascension of where we come from, and harness that and understand that. That's what we are. We're nothing better than the next person next to us, you know, and that's the most important thing. And most people need to get back to it, you know, like to snap back into it. You know, I hear about all these other different psychics that are coming all over the place. I'm all over Facebook. I see different things. I see different individuals, certain people trying to make an entity of themselves, trying to harness a power. But it's for ego, and it's for money, it's for fame. They want to be the next biggest psychic. Your aspirations are important, believe me. Because if people realized that being a psychic and being a healer or being anything spiritual in this world actually means that you're going to probably sacrifice more time and energy than what you're going to gain from it. Nobody would really step in and want to do it. They're wanting to do it because they think that they're going to be the next big thing. But the reality is no. We are brothers and sisters of this world. We need to go back to the humility. We need to go back to becoming a society of self-reliance, of being able to help each other grow in our spirituality, help each other build in our spirituality, and help each other heal within that name of spirituality, within the name of God, within the name of sense of community, and get rid of pedestals,
Right.
because we're equal laying, and that's the important part that I think it's important for everybody to remember. And I need more coffee, so I'll be right back.
Okay, and you said it. It's to be humble. I get knocked down every time I think that I'm anything better, and I don't do it anymore. I'm very humbled that I'm here, and I know that, and a lot of you understand that more gets done for the betterment of mankind behind the scenes. Those of us that are working in the trenches, that are constantly every day in some kind of prayer mode, or we're in some kind of a group where we're, establishing a connection to some negative energies and trying to dissipate that and transform that energy. It's about being humble. I always tell everybody I have a cleaning business, and so it's like, or I used to have a cleaning business. I do it now on the side, but that cleaning business, people looked at me and they were like, "Ooh," and I'm like, "No, that's the most thing that keeps me humble. It keeps me in that line of thinking that I'm just here cleaning stuff up. I'm not here to be the greatest janitor or the greatest housekeeper. Although I'm a little OCD about my own house, I keep it very, very clean. But that's besides the point. But I stay humble. I stay humble in what I'm doing. I don't allow ego. I tell everyone that it's not me. It's like when you start thinking it's you again, you get that ego going. But if you can't stay in that humbled sense of being, then you lose compassion. That's the biggest thing for me, is having compassion for what we do. Like Brian said, I'm no better than the person next to me, or the homeless man that I see, or the Sylvia Browns of the world. I'm no better. It's because I'm humbled in the place of knowing that I'm doing great works through spirit, and that energy alone through my world and my life and my daily existence and being is what gets me through. But for the grace of God go I. And so in order for us to keep that in that, um, a line of compassion, we have to gain compassion. I think that's one big thing that we're all missing, is compassion, and it starts to lead you astray when you can't keep yourself in that humbled sense of being. And so that's, again, spirituality has also been hijacked in other ways as well. It's not just about those that are doing readings and stuff, but it's about, churches that say you have to come to me. Anything that says that I have to go to them to get to my God is a hijacking. Anything that says that there's a middleman, that I don't have a direct line, is hijacking.
Yeah.
It's like we really need to stay in the path of understanding and that compassion.
And if I may interrupt, I know, I'm
Go
sorry, I
ahead.
didn't mean to
Oh, go.
interrupt.
It's all right.
One of the things that I do to connect and speak to God is one of the most powerful things. And you know what? I know I was telling you about my dream last night. I had a very clear point in my dream last night. The way my dream ended was when Grandpa passed away. When Grandpa passed away, he showed me this last night, and I forgot about it until we're talking about this. But last night in my dream, I went into the, outside, I could see the Milky Way, I could see the stars. And I asked God, I'm like, I talked to God for maybe half an hour, and this is real. This is a true story. And then I'll go back to the dream. After my grandpa passed away, I went outside for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and I just talked to God. I just talked to him like I'm talking to anybody, and I just explained to him how I felt. I lost my grandpa today. And I told him I'm out here talking to you because I believe in you. I'm out here talking to you because I have my faith in you. And I lost a family member today, but that doesn't shake my faith at all. It makes me grow stronger towards you, and I asked God, I'm like, at the end of this prayer, can you show me a shooting star? Just let me know he's okay, that you have him. Let me know that you have my grandpa. Let me know that he passed over and he got there okay. You know, I just want to know. I don't need to see it to know it. I just want you to wink your eye at me. You know, I mean, you don't have to. I don't need to see it to, you know, and then that was what I was telling God. I'm like, you know, but I don't need that. And he showed me that last night in my dream. He showed me that he was there, that he remembers that. And right when I ended the prayer, the biggest shooting star I've ever seen in my life shot right over my head. And that was that night the grandpa passed away, and he showed me that again in my dream last night. He was showing me that he saw it. You know, and I think that's an amazing thing. And this is the point of me sharing that story with you is you don't need to go to somebody or an entity to get to God or to get to your path to God. You just need to go outside. Go be by yourself. Go into the wilderness like Jesus did. What did Jesus do when he looked for God? He went out to the wilderness by himself when he got tempted by the devil. He went out there to go seek God. He went out there to have a relationship with him. He didn't go within walls. And what did Jesus do when he was being ridiculed and being taken prisoner? And he said he was going to make sure that these temples fall. God is not within the walls of a church. He's within the wilderness that he created. You know, and I think that's the important part. You know, if you're looking for your spirituality, and you're looking for God, and you're looking for that path to get to him and to be on that path of purity and love, like most of us are, there's a lot of us out there that are on the right track. You know, there's a few bad apples out there that are trying to make a name for themselves and trying to become a celebrity or trying to make a lot of money, and they are making some money. You know, there's money being passed around in this, but you're forgetting to give back. You're forgetting to take your name out of the equation and to make it a society again. That's why we have this show. This show here is meant to be a platform to attract a community or a society of people that want their voice to be heard, that wants to express their opinion without being judged, without feeling like they're being wrong. And then also being open to hearing someone else's opinion that may oppose theirs. Doesn't mean you're being judged. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean that person's right or wrong. It's a platform for us to come together and actually be able to be in a judge-free zone, express your spirituality, listen to other people's spirituality, and gain a perspective and a power, and find yourself surrounded by God. That's the whole point, right? So that's where we need to try to get to.
Yeah, it's where we got to stay.
Yeah.
Because again, I have been in this world for 22 years in the professional psychic world. I like to call it my PAP. Because it it's a path, an awareness, and a perspective. Okay, so it's my path. It's a path, an awareness, and a perspective. The path to God, there are many paths to God. There are the awarenesses that we need. People tell me all the time, oh, if you talk about something negative, you're just feeding it the energy and giving it what it wants. And I'm like, no. My awareness to the situation, my ability to speak about it with no fear, no hesitation, doesn't feed the negativity, but rather enlightens the awareness of people. We have to be able to talk about stuff. If we don't talk about things, then it just continues to be the same, right? Nothing's going to change if we don't talk about it. And then your perspective. Your perspective is in the bigger scheme of everything.
Perspective, ideologies, labels, egos, all those different things play a different part. And the other thing too is ego. What did the medicine man on the reservation tell us about ego? Ego is important. Okay, so you don't want to demolish an ego completely, because within an ego comes confidence. But within an ego, if you cross the boundary, becomes equivalence and becomes a false sense of power. You're going to need to let go of your ego. You need to realize that, being confident versus equivalent. There's a complete difference. You need to understand that you are equal, that you are not over and above beyond anyone else, nor are you more powerful or more capable than the person next to you. And that's why there's psychic ability classes out there. That's why you have the psychic ability class that was being misperceived. And people were taking the wrong thing and saying, you know what, I'm going to do my own thing. And they went off in their own direction thinking that they could do something better. It's a misperception here, guys. The psychic ability class wasn't about Solana. It was about you understanding your connection and your energy and understanding your power and where it comes from. Not let me be the next Sylvia Brown. You know what I mean? Because I assure you, Solana, she's a professional psychic, right? This is my mom I'm talking about here. I've seen her go through this transition my entire life. She is not rich. She is not anything other than the humiliated person in the psychic world, no better or worse than anybody else out there that's higher or lower. And I think that's something for everybody to remember. She's got a connection that she wants to teach you. She's got an energy that she wants to show you. She's got something that I got to be raised on. I got to experience it. Nor am I rich. I'm humbled and humiliated too, living in a one-bedroom apartment. I'm not doing this or saying these words because I want to gain a huge life out of it, And if that ever did happen or did come, and I know you feel the same way, it would be something that would be contributed back to a society.
Most definitely shared.
Given back in the way that it came in.
Yeah.
We all bump each other up, and we all pump each other up. Not bump each other up, but pump each other up. We get each other powered up. We share each other's energy. That's the
amplify. We're here to edify. We're here to just be the example of what it is when people actually come together and not fighting each other, but understand the common goal and have that perspective of doing, the betterment for mankind and keeping it all in an even playing field, balanced. We want balance. That's really what we seek.
So there was an exercise that I wanted to do that I wanted to surprise you on too. And this is relative to what our subject is here. And one of the things that, we're talking about spirituality being hijacked. We're talking about other psychics in this society here and other spiritual people that are taking this subject and trying to make it their own. If you would, please mute your microphone. I'm going to do something here that is going to blow your freaking mind, okay? Because there's something that I want you all to remember. It's all about perspective. It's all about stereotypical labels. It's all about understanding who you are, and what is around you, and not denying that anything is impossible, because everything is possible. Understanding that there is good and bad. Whether you believe that it was good and bad before you became a human, or good and bad as you being a human or being created by you, there's something that's very, very important. Man, I have to show you this. So bear with me here. Play SlipKnot. Watch.
Oh my God,
I'm not sure I understand.
Siri sucks. I hate Siri. Play SlipKnot.
I don't see SlipKnot.
Hold on.
Hey, technology's been hijacked.
I don't see SlipKnot in your collection.
There we go.
Okay, cool.
Okay, now mute your face.
I created a radio station.
Now, when we think of the devil and when we think of evil, it comes with a certain type of music, a certain face. Bear with me here.
what you think evil is. Evil will come at you with a face and sharp teeth. It's the sound of the devil. You're wrong.
Let me tell you what the devil looks like. I'm going to show you. You guys see my point?
Yes.
Do we get it here now? My point is the devil doesn't look like that. Deep down at the core, it does. Deep down in the evil of everything, yeah, absolutely. But on this planet, we are all shapeshifters. We are all able to make ourselves look and appear beautiful, loving, caring. It's an illusion, you know, and it's all about who you are right here at the core.
Mm-hmm.
It's about who you are as a person. And that's what I want you to take away from this today. When you're looking for evil and you're trying to identify it, you're not going to find it in my Halloween mask. You're not going to find it
in the sound of a voice.
You're not going to find it in the beauty or the evil look of an eye. You're going to find it in everything that you identify as pure and loving. You're going to find it in the most soothing music that you could possibly think of. You know, it's funny because one of the biggest awakenings I ever had was when I started listening to heavy metal music and understanding the people that I was talking to. They identify most of these people that listen to this music and go to these events as satanic worshipers, as evil people. No. Some, yes. Don't let those few bad apples ruin the whole perspective of things here. Most of those people were like me. They were viewing the world for what it really was. They were identifying that, hey, man, these people think that we're evil. Let them, because we're not. We're here to help you. We'll be the first one to show up at an accident and pull you out of a car. We'll be the first ones to actually, you know, let you know that something bad is happening to you. We'll be the first ones to actually identify something as being wrong. You know, and that's what you need to be. That's what you need to remember. If you have somebody that's always telling you peaches and creams, guys, understand that we're at a spiritual war here. There's a spiritual battle happening. There's an energetic, galactic battle happening. And it's going on every single day. And it has Novocaine, and it has numbing supplements, and it has so many different things that come at you and attack you. And you don't feel it or see it. You just feel influenced by it. You feel it in that sense. And if you can't identify your anger or your sadness or your oppression first, before it lets you actually take over how you act towards another person or act towards yourself, you've already allowed yourself to go above and beyond. And let this be a warning again. If you feel like you're more powerful and more knowledgeable, wiser or better than the person next to you, you need some humility. You know, and
You've been hijacked.
You've been hijacked. There you go.
I got to tell you, when you brought that mask on the screen, I was like, what? I didn't know where you were going, but hello. That's exactly right. You know, I think it's all about the distractions that the people have put out there for millennia. They want you to think that the devil and evil people look like this horned object thing, when really it could be your pastor who's a pedophile. It could be your it could be your spiritual partner. It could be someone that you feel is your soulmate, and you're married to them or in a partnership for them for years, and then all of a sudden what happens? You break up. They start to look different. How'd that happen? They start to act different. well, who were they? Where'd that person come from? And all of a sudden, they become the most negative person in your world, and they get blamed for everything that has ever happened in your life,
Yeah.
in that relationship.
No.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's time for the sense of community to come back and understand that when you come across a true light worker and a true energy worker, that person has been through some sense of humility, and if they're willing to help you and not teach you. Let's get the word teaching out of the equation. I'm not here to teach you. Those classes that you were holding weren't meant for you to be the teacher. You were the voice of the conversation, but you were trying to wake people up and let them see things, not utilize you on a daily basis. I mean, what's one of your rules? I know this for because I'm your son, but what's one of your rules when you're doing a reading with somebody? You got 2 more times to come back to me, if that.
Yep. That's
I'm
it.
not
3
going to
times.
keep being your psychic. I'm not going to keep being the person that you're going to lean on to fill your insecurities. I'm not going to be somebody that dwells on everything, and I'm also going to tell you if I see something bad getting ready to happen. And people get turned off by that because they don't want to hear that. They're going to a psychic, paying money because they're looking for good fortune. Oh, you know what? Psychics aren't fortune tellers, people. Fortune tellers are fake.
Right.
Fortune tellers are people that understand that you're going to them for a fortune, and they're trying to capitalize on your misunderstanding of what this really is. No. No.
I know it can get crazy. It really
Yeah.
does, and only because of what people want to perceive as being selfish. They see it as I have to do what's right for me. Well, and yes, while you do have to do what's right for you, you do need to have compassion for those around you. And don't take it astray, because then my God, what kind of example are we when we in the spiritual community can't even get along?
Yeah.
When there is so much dissension and drama and
No.
trauma going
And
on.
in the
That looks
spiritual
bad.
society, if it's going wrong, it's because someone's ego is either getting threatened, or someone is wanting to appear more powerful or more knowledgeable. They want to be the go-to person. Um, and if you're watching this, if you're the person that knows that we're talking about you, or if you feel like we're talking about you, believe me, we are. If you, let me just give you a heads up on something here. There's nothing you can do. There's no defense mechanism. You're going to fall. You are going to sense and feel the humility that you're supposed to. And then when you do fall down and you're surrounded by humility, guess what? Guess who's going to be there to help you?
Hello.
I'm there to help you. You know why? Because I'm at that level. I'm at that level of humility. I've been humiliated. I've been proven wrong. I've also had my points of power. When I cut my finger when I was 12 years old, I put my hands on my finger and I was able to ask God to help me heal this. Not Brian Fox, not, let me see if I can do this. It wasn't about that. I was asking for Spirit to take away this pain and take away this cut and take away this wound, and it went away.
Mm-hmm.
Never been able to do that again.
Yes, you
And that is
have.
where my humility is.
I'm
Well,
sorry. I'm sorry, but Spirit heals us when we believe Spirit can heal us.
yeah.
And I raised you to believe that Spirit could heal you. So even when you had that accident on the water here in Dunedin,
Yeah. I
you
remember that.
cut your foot really bad. You amazed people around you because of how quickly that healed and what kind of you
Yeah.
should have gone to the hospital, but you didn't, because you knew Spirit was going to take care of you. You knew Spirit was always going to have your back. I live in the faith that no matter what, my needs and wants are going to be met before I have need or want of them, because it's by God's will that I am here. It's by
Yeah.
God's will that I'm doing anything that I am. That's it. So we have to stay in that humbleness and that compassion for a world of hurt. We are all going through so much tragedy right now,
Yeah.
and people just they still clam up, and you're being brainwashed to thinking that you're here alone, suffering alone, and so we have to get out of that mindset so that we can start turning things around and transforming.
Yep.
Woo, I tell you.
Well, this was a really good conversation. I'm glad we had it because it's very, very important. It's something that, it's not necessarily that it bothers me, but it's something that needs to be said and acknowledged because nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about the dark side of spirituality. They identify it as either love or hate. And no. There's a balance in it. There's a balance in it, and believe me, God wants you to have that balance. He created both things anyways,
Yeah.
or allowed them to be created, however you want to perceive it. You gotta be able to embellish and embrace both, and be able to understand your loving core and understanding who you are as a person. And if you walk away from this video feeling offended, if you walk away from this video feeling like we are just whack and wrong, then that's okay too, because then you're headed down a path that you need to be on
And
to
we
get
still
to the
love you.
point of the humility that's coming your way. And people hear humility. And look, when I was a teenager on the reservation, this is something that the Native American culture teaches you. Humility first. They teach you humility because humility is necessary to submit to God. Humility is necessary to acknowledge who you are in the perspective of the universe. You need that humility. Zoom out from the planet, guys. Zoom out from our universe. Look how small you are. Look how small I am. Look how small we are as a society. You could bunch a whole bunch of all the humans in one little country and put us there and zoom out so far away you still can't see it. We are not powerful people. We live within a power.
Exactly.
You know, so acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And remember too, when you're having a bad day, and this is because I have a lot of bad days, considering what I do for a living. I have a lot of bad days. I'm around by a bunch of stuff. I'm not curing cancer. I tell myself that because you know, it's kind of like it's a weird thing to say, but whenever I'm having such a bad day and I'm getting so wrapped up and so emotional and so negative about something that's going wrong in my workday, I remind myself of that. Hey, I'm not curing cancer. What the hell am I taking this so damn serious for? I'm going to move forward from it, or I'm going to get fired. One of the two. Either way, I'm going to be okay. You know, so that's something that we all need to get in that perspective. You know, get outside the box, live in the moment, understand who you are in the moment. When you're brushing your teeth, guys, when you're vacuuming the floor, when you're doing the dishes, when you're taking a shower, acknowledge where your brain is in that moment. Because I guarantee you're either living in the past or you're living in the future when you're having those moments. No. Take that opportunity when you're brushing your teeth and vacuuming the floor and doing the dishes and taking a shower, driving down the car, going down the road. Acknowledge how much of an autopilot your brain is actually in, and realize that you are either living in the past or living in the future, which is a very powerful spiritual acknowledgement. You know, remember that and go back into the moment. That is a time right there that you can cease the moment, clear your mind, and have a sense of meditation and a sense of connection with your higher power. You know, that's an opportunity that is being hijacked as well, either by the past or the future, which creates negativity. It's either going to give you depression or anxiety. Remember to live in the moment, and you'll eliminate those two things and become more one with the planet and more one with the universe and one with your higher power. And that's all I got.
Those are all distractions too, I know, right? But those are all distractions of things. A lot of people get on a spiritual path, and then they get knocked down, and they get torn apart. They get rumors, innuendos, and all kinds of other things happening in their world. But guess what? They're alive. It doesn't stop them. You have to, continue to move forward and not let those distractions stop you. And from having that trust in spirit, that confidence that energy is flowing through you. That's why spirit gave me the phrase, I am connected, grounded, balanced, protected, and flowing in the love of the divine. We have to be connected. We have to know that we are all connected in this energy. We have to be balanced out in the mindset that we are all the same and equal. And then, we have to understand that when we're grounded in that belief, that we can still function and, go on our days and know that every little thing we do makes a difference. And we're protected. It's like so many different things happen to people and they don't feel protected because of these things happen. Well, guess what? You're in a physical world. There's other people creating other things around you that might knock you down and take you out of that protection for a second. And if you allow that to, continue to where you think that I'm not protected, I'm getting attacked all the time, blah, 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 blah. Trust me, I get attacked all the time. But I believe that I'm protected. It doesn't hurt me. inside, I'm still me. It doesn't matter because I know that I've got that connection to God. And I know that I have that energy. That is the flowing and the love of the divine. It is an energy that is flowing to you, and it's a universal energy, and it's available to all of us. And so we have to stay in that mindset that I am connected, grounded, balanced, protected, and flowing in the love of the divine. And that's how you set your day. And that's how you continue forward. And that's how you keep your trust and confidence, that Spirit's always going to be there and that you're going to be okay, that you have to live in that faith 24/7. It's not something that you just do in a meditation. It's not something you just do when you go and help somebody. Maybe you go volunteer. It's not just in those little moments, but it's all the time, 24/7 in this world. You've got that possibility and availability to you. And so don't let anybody else distract you and take you away from that. Like that mask. I just looked down and I saw that mask and it threw me off for a second. I was like, what? But that's what happens though. We get distracted and we get taken off our path. So remember the PAP. I know it sounds like a pap smear, but it's a PAP because it's a pathway and awareness and a perspective, that you got to keep yourself flowing in that energy constantly, 24/7. Don't let nothing take you off of it. No matter no matter how many rumors are flying around, no matter how many innuendos are out there, no matter how many people seem like they are on you or befriending you and then defriending you and then befriending you and then defriending you. That's their path, and our path is just to stay in that compassion, to stay in that love, to stay in that confidence and that trust that we are connected to Spirit.
Absolutely. And on that note, I would like to say, remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel Solano0156. Come join us next Sunday. Have some coffee with us. Remember that the look in face of evil doesn't always look like this, so watch out and embrace your Sunday. Have fun, guys. Thank you for joining us. We're taking off. We'll see y'all later.
See you next time.